You know that feeling when you drop some change into a donation box or hit that Donate Now button online and you feel good, like you just helped someone even in a small way. That warm, fuzzy feeling, it's powerful. And let's be honest, we all want to believe that when we give, it actually makes a difference. But what if I told you that a lot of that kindness, the money, the hope, the belief in doing the right thing, doesn't always go where you think it does? This isn't about discouraging generosity, quite the opposite. It's about opening your eyes to a side of the charity world that no one really talks about. A side that's messy, uncomfortable, and honestly, kind of heartbreaking. Let's start with something simple. When you donate to a big-name charity, how much of your money do you think actually goes to the people in need? 80%? 90%? Well, in many cases, it's a lot less than that. Some well-known charities spend more on marketing, salaries, and administrative costs than on the actual cause they're promoting. You know those touching TV commercials or beautifully crafted Instagram ads with emotional music and heart-tugging visuals? Those cost money, a lot of it. Now, of course, organizations need to pay for outreach, logistics, and staff. That's fair, but when CEOs are making 6- or even 7-figure salaries, while the communities they serve are still struggling to survive, you have to ask, where's the line between helping and exploiting? And here's where it gets darker. In some situations, charity organizations have been caught inflating their numbers, showcasing glossy statistics, emotional stories, or images that don't reflect the full truth. Sometimes they highlight success cases that are the exception, not the norm. Sometimes they use photos from entirely different regions just to make a campaign feel more urgent or emotional. It's like a performance, carefully staged to keep donations rolling in. And then there's the issue of dependency. There are charities that, intentionally or not, end up creating systems where the people they claim to help never actually become self-sufficient. Because if the problem gets solved, the money stops. And for some organizations, that's a risk they don't want to take. That's not to say all charities are bad, not at all. There are countless grassroots groups and local organizations doing real, life-changing work with honesty and transparency. But when big money gets involved, millions or even billions of dollars, things get complicated fast. In the next part, we're going deeper into the numbers. How the financial structure of some of the biggest charities reveals a troubling truth. And why asking the right questions could be the most powerful act of kindness you ever make. So let's talk money. You see, when you donate to a charity, there's this unspoken expectation that most, if not all, of your contribution will go toward the cause. Feeding the hungry, building schools, providing clean water. Whatever the mission is, we assume our money fuels that mission directly. But when you start looking at the financial breakdowns, the ones buried in annual reports or hidden behind layers of PR, the picture isn't so clear. Take some of the largest international charities, for example. Many of them operate like corporations. High-rise headquarters, executive bonuses, global marketing teams. Some spend 25%, 40%, even up to 60% of donations on overhead costs. Things like administration, fundraising, and yes, executive salaries. One major CEO reportedly earns over $1 million per year. $1 million. From donor money. And while that may be justified as competitive pay for high-level talent, the ethics get murky fast when you compare that salary to the people supposedly being helped. People who sometimes live on less than $2 a day. Then there's the fundraising machine. For some organizations, fundraising is a business within the business. They hire outside agencies to run aggressive donation campaigns. These agencies often take a percentage of the donations raised, meaning your $20 gift might turn into $12 by the time it reaches the charity, and maybe even less by the time it reaches the cause. And in worst-case scenarios, a disturbing portion never makes it to the field at all. It gets even trickier when you look at how donations are categorized. A charity might claim that 80% of funds go to programs, which sounds great, until you realize that programs can include things like PR campaigns, staff training, or fancy donor events. It's legal, it's technically transparent, but it's not what most people imagine when they give. And that's the thing. The system banks on perception, on hope, on our belief that giving is good. Because if people really started asking where every dollar goes and demanding transparency, a lot of these giants would have some explaining to do. But here's the truth. This isn't about hating on all charities. It's about accountability. It's about realizing that not all giving is equal, that sometimes giving blindly can do more harm than good. And that real impact takes more than just money. It takes awareness. Coming up in next part, we'll look at the impact on the communities themselves. What happens when a charity swoops in with cameras, money, and good intentions, and then leaves? The emotional cost, the disruption, and the dark side of voluntarism, it's deeper than you think. So what actually happens when a charity lands in a vulnerable community with money, cameras, and an agenda? On the surface, it looks hopeful. Children smiling, new buildings going up, food being handed out. But when the cameras leave, reality often sets in. Many local communities have shared a strange sense of abandonment, or worse, damage, because not all help helps. Let's take voluntarism, a trend where people from wealthy countries travel to poorer ones to volunteer. The idea sounds noble, but the execution often deeply flawed. Volunteers with little experience or understanding of the culture parachute in for a week or two, paint a school that didn't need painting, take photos with children for Instagram, and leave. The cycle repeats, another group arrives, repeats the same work, and the community remains stuck in a revolving door of short-term aid and long-term instability. Worse, some charities unintentionally, or sometimes very intentionally, displace local workers. Why hire local builders or teachers when free labor is flying in from overseas? Why support homegrown solutions when international donors want to fund their way of doing things? In many places, local infrastructure development is actually hindered by charity dependence. When aid becomes a lifestyle, not a bridge, it stunts organic growth. And then there's the trauma, because charity isn't always gentle. Many organizations have been caught using the pain and poverty of real people as fundraising content. A child's malnourished face becomes a tool to spark emotion and drive donations. But imagine being that child, or their parent. Imagine your life reduced to a photo caption and a monthly donor email. It's dehumanizing, and it creates a power imbalance, the saviors and the saved, the Western hero and the helpless other. This narrative has been used again and again, feeding into centuries-old stereotypes. It strips away dignity, it makes people projects, and it leaves scars far deeper than most outsiders ever realize. But it's not just about optics, it's about sustainability, about ownership. Some communities have spoken out, saying, "We didn't ask for this, we weren't included in the planning." And now we're left with unfinished structures, foreign systems we can't maintain, and a population that's confused and disempowered. It's not the disaster relief teams or the grassroots workers at fault. Many of them mean well and do incredible things. The problem is the model, the way so many large charities prioritize visibility over impact, short-term wins over long-term partnership. In the final part, we're going to talk solutions, how to spot the difference between performative charity and real meaningful change, and how you as a donor can still help without being part of the problem. Now that we've peeled back the layers and seen how charity can sometimes do more harm than good, the big question is, what can we do about it? Because here's the truth, charity can be beautiful, it can be transformative, but only when it's rooted in respect, accountability, and the voices of the people it's supposed to serve. And yes, as donors, we have more power than we think. The first step is simple. Ask questions. Where does your money actually go? How much of it reaches the ground? And how much is absorbed by overhead, marketing, and executive salaries? A transparent organization won't shy away from those answers. In fact, they'll want you to know, because transparency builds trust. Next, look beyond the glossy brochures and emotional videos. They're designed to tug at your heartstrings. And that's okay. Stories are powerful, but they should come with context, dignity, and consent. If a charity is using shock value and poverty porn to sell its mission, it's time to think twice. Real impact looks different. It's quieter, less flashy. It often involves training local leaders, investing in long-term solutions, and measuring success in years, not Instagram likes. The best organizations don't just show up when disaster strikes. They stay, they listen, and they build alongside communities, not above them. Another thing? Consider supporting grassroots charities, the ones run by people from the communities they serve. These organizations often operate with smaller budgets, but their understanding of local needs and culture gives them a huge edge in creating lasting change. And here's something not enough people talk about. Money isn't always the best donation. Sometimes it's your time, your platform, your ability to advocate. Sharing verified, well-researched information about ethical organizations can go much further than a one-time check. You're not just helping fund a project, you're helping shape the narrative. We also need to let go of the idea that charity makes us heroes. It's not about rescuing others. It's about solidarity, standing with, not standing over. It's about humility. And sometimes that means recognizing when it's better to step back, listen, and support from behind the scenes. In the end, the dirty secrets of the charity industry don't mean we should stop giving altogether. Quite the opposite. It means we need to give smarter, with open eyes and open hearts. Because when done right, charity doesn't just fill a need, it empowers a future. Thanks for watching. If this opened your eyes or made you think differently, consider sharing it with someone else. Let's keep the conversation going, because change starts with awareness. And maybe, just maybe, the next time you give, it'll be the kind of giving that truly makes a difference.